Hey guys, it's Songs of Psyche here. I'm going to start off my very first YouTube video, yay, by reading one of the first stories I ever wrote for The Hobbit. It's titled An Unexpected Proposal. Here we go. Thorin was still yelling. It had been nearly an hour, and he was still upset about what Bilbo did, and Bilbo was starting to feel exasperated. There was an army outside, and all Thorin could do was yell what had happened to the level-headed dwarf who had comforted him in Mirkwood. Bilbo sighed, looking down at his toes. He saw a small glitter. This is madness, he thought as he strode towards Thorin, the small piece of gold clutched in his hand. Thorin Oakenshield! Bilbo shouted, and he felt 14 eyes fall upon him as he strode towards the throne. You! I can't believe you gave them the Arkenstone. Of all the treasures in all of Erebor, you had to pick the one thing that mattered to me most. Are you trying to spite? Will you marry me? Bilbo asked suddenly. Thorin stopped short. What? He asked. Bilbo knelt down on one knee and revealed a gold ring embedded with small sapphires. He held it up with a trembling hand. Thorin Oakenshield, son of Thrain, son of Thror, will you marry me? He asked again, trying to keep his voice steady as Thorin opened and closed his mouth like a fish gaping for air. He had been rendered speechless, just as Bilbo had intended. Thorin just stared at him and at the ring in his finger. This was unexpected, he thought. The anger he felt before vanished and was replaced with confusion. What just happened? The company stared at the two figures in the middle of the room. It was a strange sight. Thorin, dressed in regal blue with a gold crown on his head, and Bilbo kneeling on the ground with his arm outstretched, his dark green tunic moving up and down as he breathed, and his new buttons glinted. The silence was eerie, but at least it was better than Thorin shouting. Fili was the first one to pick it up. He suppressed a laugh and hid his smile with his sleeve. Kili glared at Fili, then looked back at Thorin and Bilbo. Oh. Thorin glanced down at Bilbo, and then took his hand and pulled him up. After all they went through, he still had the courage to ask what he never could. What a brave little soul! Shouldn't it be the other way around, though? Maybe it was different in Hobbit culture. Thorin smiled. He had never been proposed to in all of his life, and it made him feel happy, almost giddy. Yes, he said. Then he awkwardly extended his hand. Bilbo stopped short. What? Yes, I will marry you, Thorin explained with a smile on his face. Bilbo returned the smile and then put the ring on his finger. He had never expected him to say yes. What would happen now? He had only intended to distract him. Thorin pulled him into a hug and whirled him around. This is the happiest moment of my life, he blurted out, and then promptly started crying into his shoulder. So this is what Balin meant when he said Thrain went mad from gold sickness, Bilbo thought, and he gingerly patted Thorin on the back. There, it's all right, he tried to comfort him. Thorin's breath hitched, and he looked up at him with a pure Durin scowl on his face. There is an army outside this mountain. They're going to interfere with the wedding. Damn them all to Mahal's hammer, he shouted, breaking free of Bilbo and wheeling around to face his company. He turned fiercely to Ori. You! He shouted. Ori visibly flinched. Yes? Go get paper and ink! We need to start on the invitations. At least 5,000. Everyone out there should get one, and a +1 for their guests. The orcs might not make it, but that's okay. They'd ruin the pictures anyway. And the elves. Oh, those damn elves. We'll have to make sure they stay in the back, too. He started pacing and murmuring while everyone stared shell-shocked at him. Bilbo cleared his throat. Shall I? He trailed off. He didn't even know where to start and was beginning to think that proposing was a very bad idea. Thorin turned to him and smiled. You, my dear Bilbo, I'm sure you should go with Balin. I'm sure he remembers where the textile room is. We need to start fitting you into your dress robes. He motioned towards Balin, who just smiled. Then he turned to Ori, who was still stock still. Well, get on with it! 5,000 invitations won't write themselves. Ori hesitated, and Balin whispered, Best you play along for it now, laddie. Better be planning a wedding than a battle. Yes, sir, he answered. Thorn smiled brightly. Good lad, you shall be my best man, he shouted, and then he turned around to the group. I want to thank you all for being here on my special day, he started, and then his breath hitched. Oh, he sighed, rubbing his eyes. Come on, Dwalin. Help me write my royal announcement, he commanded, and then he strode off towards the dilapidated study, leaving the group in silence. Is Thorn going insane? Nori asked, the question they had all been thinking. Aye, he may be. Gold sickness can come in many forms. Keeley choked back a laugh, and all heads turned towards him. Bilbo, you have turned Uncle into a woman, he snorted as Feely tried to shush him. I was only trying to distract him. I never thought he would say yes, Bilbo shot back. Then they heard Thorn's low baritone singing the traditional dwarf wedding song coming from the study. Well, it worked, Feely answered, and Keeley giggled. Shush, you're making it worse, brother, Feely shot back at him, punching him in the arm. Ow! What's that for? Keeley huffed. Feely pouted his lip. Oh, brother, I'm so sorry that I hurt you and stole your pride with my fist. Will you marry me? Ori gasped in horror. The sickness is spreading! Bilbo felt himself flush with embarrassment. This had been a very, very bad idea, after all. And there you have it. That's how the Battle of Five Armies never happened, and they all lived happily ever after. Having a momentous occasion surrounded by many loved ones can cure any ill feelings between people. Even the orcs were happy. The majority of them came, much to Thorin's dismay. Azog got quite drunk and gave a long toast to the happy couple while continuously threatening to kill them. The elves and men's feelings were smoothed over when Thorin handed out thank you presents for coming, and they all lived happily ever after, except for Tolkien, who's probably rolling over in his grave at this very moment, cursing me to oblivion in 30 different languages for this blasphemous piece of fluff. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. This has been super fun to make, and hopefully there will be more up soon. Please subscribe to my channel, and you will hear more from me soon. I'm also on Tumblr, Fanfiction, AO3, Wattpad, and a new one called Inkit, all under the same name. You can go find it. Anyway, I hope you all have a good day, and I will see you next time. Bye! Push my hair. Hey, watch this, watch this. Hello, I'm Cousin Nick. Thorn, will you marry me? Oh yes, I would love to. No, I can't see. Actually, I can't see. Hold on. There we go, that's much better. Alright, bye!